Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of XLR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We've also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. The hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a live classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Want to get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. XLR. We don't just train, we build careers.
Yes, so the collaboration with XLR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if XLR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with XLR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank XLR for being a part of it.
Good evening, all. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
You can take over that.
Yeah. Hey guys, good evening to everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Can someone confirm the chat box? Then I will start. Thank you. So let me share my screen. Okay, thank you, thank you. Let me share my screen. Let us recap what we have discussed in last class. I'm sharing my screen. Just let me open Notepad. Then we can recap what we have discussed in last class. See, if you look at my screen, in last class we have discussed what are the Docker disadvantages. See, Docker containers are lightweight, containers are not self-sufficient. Docker will not support self-healing. That means if whenever any container got deleted, any container got crashed, see, Docker itself will not repair the container. So that is meaning by that is what Docker will not support self-healing. Then Docker will not handle load balance. That means Docker will not distribute the traffic between the servers or the containers equally. If you are deploying any application in a container level, so that is all about Docker will not handle load balancer. Then fifth point, Docker will not support auto scaling. That means whenever traffic is increasing towards application, whenever traffic is decreasing towards application, you based upon the application demand or traffic, you should increase resources. Like for suppose let's discuss about vertical auto scaling. See what is vertical auto scaling? See vertical auto scaling is nothing but if you need to increase more CPUs, more RAM, more ROM. So all about vertical setting, vertical auto scaling. Then as well, you have to increase more servers based upon the application demand. So that is all about horizontal auto scaling. That means, for suppose you are running 10 servers for managing up to 5 lakhs traffic. But when it comes to increasing the traffic up to 10 lakh, see 10 servers not sufficient. You need to increase more servers. So that is all about what horizontal auto scaling. So that means Docker will not support auto scaling. Then we have discussed about two type of architectures. What are they? One is monolithic architecture. See what is monolithic architecture? That means we have discussed one real-time example that is all about restaurant. We have taken one restaurant. The restaurant has one big kitchen where the restaurant services. It may be foods, it may be orders, it may be deliveries. All these things, all these operations has been done from the one big kitchen only. If the kitchen will disturb, entire restaurant will be disturbed. For suppose whenever you deploy any application in monolithic architecture, if any one of service is got down, entire application will get down. So that means there is a single point of failure. It is all about monolithic architecture. But when it comes to microservice architecture, you are going to we have discussed about Swiggy and Zomato. See, Swiggy and Zomato has tie-up with several multiple restaurants. See, the customer favorite restaurant is not available. Then customer restaurant will switch to the another restaurant because of there is an option. If someone wants to order non-veg from their favorite hotel, from their favorite restaurant, but unfortunately that favorite or restaurant is not available, is closed. So then what customer will do? Customer will choose, then Zomato will explain or will show you the customer currently whatever you are searching for the restaurant, it is not available, it's closed. You can choose another restaurant and then you can order, then you can get your favorite biryani. So like that you can able to understand. We have discussed about Swiggy and Zomato. That means whenever you deploy any application in a microservice architecture, for suppose there is a Flipkart application. Flipkart application has 9 services. Out of 9 services, any one service got down, any one of service is not working, the impact will be up to that service only. The impact will not up to the entire application. That means your application will be working fine, no problem. It is all about the microservice architecture. Then we have discussed what is Kubernetes. Kubernetes is nothing but it is a container management tool and container orchestration tool. And also we have discussed the cluster. What is cluster? It is a combination of nodes. Then we have discussed when Kubernetes was invented in 2013. It came into the market by the Google in Go language. In 2014, Google has donated this Kubernetes cluster to the CNCF, Cloud Native Computing Foundation. Currently, Kubernetes is operating or managing by the CNCF only. Then we have discussed which languages Kubernetes supported, YAML and JSON. Then we have discussed what are the Kubernetes features. So totally we have discussed 8 features. That is the reason only we are calling Kubernetes as K8s. So in K8s, in Kubernetes, we have discussed pod. Pod is a smallest deployable unit where ultimately we are going to deploying our application. That is all about pod. Then we have discussed auto scaling, auto healing, load balancer, platform independent, and fault tolerations, rollback, health monitoring of containers, orchestration. So this is what we have discussed in last class. So now let us discuss cluster architecture. We have discussed about cluster architecture. It is very important. Then only it is easy to understand what is happening in cluster in Kubernetes. So let me explain Kubernetes cluster architecture. Yes, cluster architecture. Let me explain. Okay. See, if you want to discuss about, if you want to understand about Kubernetes architecture, you need to understand about nodes. So there is you can take any cluster. You can take AWS cloud provider, Azure, Microsoft, and GCP and Oracle. You can take any cloud provider Kubernetes or a cluster. There will be a two type of nodes. There will be a two type of nodes. What are the two types of nodes? Let me explain. Two types of nodes we have. Two types of nodes we have. One is master node. One is master node or control plane. Control plane. Second one is worker node. Second one is worker node. So now let us discuss what is mean by master node or control plane. Let me explain. See, master node or control plane is responsible to maintain entire your cluster. Entire your cluster. So that is the main responsibility of master node, and also it has to be make available worker nodes. That means master node has two responsibilities. What is the first one? It has to maintain entire the cluster. Then it has to make available worker nodes. That means with the help of master node only, you can able to create a number of worker nodes. For suppose if you don't have master node, you cannot create any worker node. So that is the thing you have to remember. So now let me explain what are the components are available in master node. See, let me explain. See, master node has four components. Master node has four components. So you have to discuss about what are the four components in master node. So first let me explain. See, first one is API server. API server. So let's take one flowchart. Then it is easy to understand what is mean by master node, what is mean by API server. All these things we will discuss with a flowchart. Let me take existing diagram. Yeah. So if you remember all these things we have discussed in last class. See restaurant analogy. So this is for monolithic architecture. Okay. Then we have discussed flipped application also. Then microservice architecture. So this is all about microservice architecture and monolithic. So now let me explain. We need one cluster. So let me take one cluster. Yeah. So I have one cluster. Let me expand. Yeah. So this is my cluster. So what is the first worker node? What is the first node in the cluster? There is a master node or control plane. Already we have discussed what is mean by master node and control plane. It is responsible to maintain entire your cluster and it has to make available worker nodes. That means you have to tell to your master node how many worker nodes you need. How many worker nodes you need. For suppose, if you want four worker nodes, then tell the number to the worker node, to the master node. If you want 5 worker nodes, then tell the number to the master node. If you want 10, if you want 50, if you want 100, you must need to inform or you must need to tell your master node how many worker nodes you need. So then, based upon your request, master node will make available or will create worker nodes for your application. So let us discuss what is the first component in master node. That is all about API server. See, I explained master node has 4 components. The first component name is API server. So what is mean by API server? So let us take one diagram for the API server. Just type API, then you will get one diagram. So this is API server. So before that, you need master node, right? You need master node. Let me take one master node. Okay, it is not coming. Okay, no problem. Let's take one rectangle. So this will be act as a master node. This will be act as a master node. Better to add color. Okay, this is our cluster. Then this is our master node. This is our master node. Let me add color to the master node. Let me name it to the master node. Yeah. So this is master node and cluster control plane. So what is the first component? API server. Let me explain what is mean by API server. What API server will do exactly in master node. Let me expand. Yeah. So this is all about API server. So now let me explain in simple terms what is mean by API server. What is the responsible of API server in master node? See, whenever you want to talk, whenever you want to communicate to your cluster, you need to execute some commands, right? For suppose in Docker, if you want to communicate with your Docker daemon, what are the commands we have to execute? If you want to search for Docker images, we need to execute Docker images. For containers, Docker PS. For creating the Docker containers, Docker run, Docker images, Docker inspect, Docker exec-t, Docker unpause, Docker pause, Docker rm. See all these commands. That means by using these commands, you are going to communicating. You are going to talking to your Docker daemon. So that is all about Docker daemon, Docker commands. Similarly, in cluster, if you want to talk with the cluster, what is the primary entry point? What is the entry gate in the cluster? It is all about API. That means API server will be act as a entry gate for your cluster. That is all about API server. That means whenever you execute any command in your cluster, the first request will go to the API server only. Without going to the API server, any command will not execute. That is all about API server. So remember, blindly can remember API server is an entry point for your any Kubernetes task or cluster. Whenever you execute any command, the first request will go to the API server. Then API server will forward the request to the particular resource. For suppose, if you want to create pod, so you just need to execute kubectl create pod. So the command will goes to the API server. So API server will recognize, the client wants to create one pod. So the API server will inform to the particular resource, which resource will create pod in your cluster. So that particular resource, API server will forward the request. Then pod will be created. So this is what happened in cluster by using the API server. So that is all about API server. So let me write here. It is an entry point. Is an entry point to every KATS task in cluster, and also it will be act as a entry gate. It will be act as a entry gate for your cluster. So, and if any request will come, if you execute any command, the first request will go to the where? To the API server only. To the API server. So this is all about API server. So now let me explain what is the second component of master node. So etcd. It is very easy to understand and remember what is mean by etcd. So now let me explain what is mean by etcd. So let me get etcd also in master node. So this is etcd. Okay. See, if you create any cluster, there will be some data. That means there is a data regarding your master node. There is a data regarding your cluster. There is a data regarding your all cluster resources. So the entire data you need to store. That means cluster information or cluster data where it is going to store. That is all about etcd. That means your entire cluster information or data, etcd only will be stored. That is all about etcd. etcd will be act as a database. So that is all about etcd. So it is going to store. It is going to store entire your cluster. It is going to store entire cluster information or data, and it will be act as a database. It will be act as a database. So that is all about etcd. One second. Sorry, I came back. So this is all about etcd. So then we need to discuss about third component of master node. So what is the controller manager? The third component of master node is controller manager. So what is mean by controller manager? What is the role of controller manager in master node? So now let me explain. So let me get control manager also here. Controller manager. Controller manager. Why it's not coming? Okay, no problem. It's not coming. Let's take another symbol. So this is all about a control manager. Just assume it's a control manager. Let me add color. So it is nothing. It is nothing but controller manager. So now let me explain what is mean by control manager. See, control manager is nothing but it will collect the data or information from the API server regarding your Kubernetes cluster. That means whatever the information is available in API server regarding your cluster, the entire data will be collected by the control manager from where API server only. So that is the responsibility of control manager. That means if someone will ask who will collect the entire data or information from the API server regarding your Kubernetes cluster. So this is question. You should say control manager only will collect the data or information from the API server regarding our Kubernetes cluster. So that is all about control manager. So let me write here what is mean by control manager. See, it will collect the data or information from where? From the API server regarding your Kubernetes cluster. Regarding your Kubernetes cluster. So that is the responsibility of control manager in master node. Then what is the last one or fourth component of master node? That is all about scheduler. It is easy to understand what is mean by scheduler. So now let me explain what is mean by scheduler in Kubernetes cluster. So let me get scheduler also. Let me get a scheduler. So this is this is scheduler. Let me take this one. Yeah. So this is all about a scheduler. So now let me explain what is mean by scheduler. This is scheduler. So there is a cluster. In my cluster, I need to execute some tasks. For suppose I want to create pod. If I want to create a deployment, if I want to create a replica set, if I want to create a service, that means cluster has many resources, many objectives. So if you want to create any objective, if you want to create any resource, you need to inform to the scheduler. That means whenever you want to execute any task, the task should be executed by the scheduler only. That means scheduler only will schedule your task. Then only it will be created. So that is all about scheduler. That means master is providing one of the major component. It is all about scheduler. It is responsible to schedule a task. That means this task should be done this time only. this task should be done this time only. So all these schedule will be taken care by the scheduler only. So that is the meaning of scheduler in master node. So let me explain what is exactly. 1 second. Sorry guys, I came back. So that is all about scheduler. So what is mean by scheduler? It will schedule, it will schedule, it will schedule, it will schedule your tasks in Kubernetes cluster. So that is all about scheduler. So this is all about what is meant by master node, what are the components are available, what is API server, what is etcd, what is control manager, what is scheduler. So this is the architecture of master node. Then we will discuss about worker node. Why we are going to discussing worker node after master node? Because of with the help of master node only, we can able to create worker nodes. So that's why I explained firstly master node. So let me take worker node also. So this is my worker node. Yeah. So this is my worker node. Let me add some color. Okay. Let me name it. So this is my worker node. So now let me explain what is mean by worker node. What is mean by worker node? Yeah. See, worker node. See, worker node is nothing but where your application workload is going to be deployed. That means we are ultimately we have deploy our application inside a cluster. So that what is the place where we are going deploying, where actually we have to deploy our application. That is all about worker node. That means whatever the application you have deployed, the entire application workload will be deployed, will be maintaining by the worker node only. So let me explain. The worker node is the mediator between the master node and cluster. So that is all about worker node. Worker node is a mediator who manages and takes care of the containers and communicates with the master node. That means this worker node will be created by the master node. So ultimately, the worker node will communicate with the master node. Then it will take care of your container. See why the worker node will take care and manage your container, because of we are going to deploying our container inside the Kubernetes cluster only. So how how we can deploy our container? So what about Docker? What is the use of Docker? Already we have discussed. Docker has some disadvantages. So that's why you are going to deploying our cluster, our container inside the Kubernetes cluster. See, I told Kubernetes is a container management tool. That means you have to the Kubernetes will manage your container. It won't create any container, but you have to provide your container information. That is all about container image name, container port number, container name. See, these three things you have to specify to your cluster. Then only your application will be deployed inside the container. Okay, you provided, you will provide your container name, container port number, and container image. That's it. Then who will take care of all these things? That means who will take care of your container in Kubernetes cluster. It is all about worker node. We can say worker node is a mediator who manages and takes care of your container. It is all about worker node. And also worker node will communicate with our master node, which gives the instructions. That means master node only will give the instructions. How master node will give instructions? Because API server is there. AP, whenever you execute any command, the first request will go to the API server only. The API server will communicate with master node. Then master node will deploy your application. So that's why I'm telling worker node will communicate with master node, which gives the instructions to assign the resource to the container schedule. That means if you want to create any pod, the worker node will create the pod, but by whom getting the instructions from the master node only. In master node, who will give the instructions? API server only. So that is all about kube cluster. Worker node will communicate with our master node there, by which gives the instructions to assign the resources. So a Kubernetes cluster can have multiple worker nodes to scale resources as needed. It means worker node is a mediator and who manages and takes care of your container. That is all about worker node. So let me explain. It will act as a mediator. It will be act as a mediator who manages and takes care of your container. Who takes care of your container. And also it will communicate with your master node, and which gives instructions to assign the resources. So who will give these instructions from the master node? In master node, who will give these instructions? That is all about API server only. So that's why the master node, the worker node has to communicate with our master node. So that is all about what is mean by worker node. What is the responsible of worker node? So that is all about, and let me write something. See, at the end of the day, your application has to be deployed in worker node inside Kubernetes cluster. See, if someone will ask where your application is going to be deployed, so the answer is worker node only. That means the worker node only will manage your entire application workload. Because the application is going to be deployed inside the worker node only. That's why it is responsible to maintain or to manage entire application workload. So it is all about what is mean by worker node, why worker node. So let me explain what are the components of worker node. See, worker node also has 4 components, similar with master node also, with master node. So now let me explain what are the 4 components in worker nodes. So first component of master node is kubelet. So what is mean by kubelet? So let me explain what is mean by kubelet. Let's come to our flowchart. Then let me get kubelet. Hit the enter. So this is the kubelet. So in worker node, what is the role or responsibility of kubelet? What is meant by kubelet? So let me explain. See, I told yesterday, I told in worker node, we are going to explain, we are going to deploying our application. So where the application is going to deploy inside the pod only. Last class I explained what is meant by pod. See, pod, it is the smallest deployable unit where actually we are going to deploying our container. See, you can say about deploying application, you can say about container also, because of container only your application has container only has your application source code, libraries, dependencies, configuration files. So you have to deploy your container inside the pod only. So if you want to deploy any application or if you want to deploy your container in Kubernetes cluster, you need one pod, right? So who will create this pod? In Kubernetes cluster, the question is, in Kubernetes cluster, who will create pod? So that is all. The answer is kubelet only. That's why we have to understand about what is mean by kubelet. See, kubelet is nothing but it will create pod for deploying your application or container inside the worker node in Kubernetes cluster. And also, kubelet is the primary component of the worker node which manages the pods. That is all about kubelet. So let me write here. It is a primary component of worker node, and it will create a pod for deploying your container, for deploying your application as a container. That is all about what is mean by kubelet, what kubelet will do actually in Kubernetes cluster. So what is the second component of worker node? That is all about kube proxy. So let me explain what is mean by kube proxy, what will do actually kube proxy in Kubernetes in worker node. So for that, let me get kube proxy also. Kube proxy. So this is kube proxy. Let me explain what is mean by kube proxy. See, kube proxy is not in worker node. Kube proxy is nothing but it will contain all the network configuration of entire your cluster. That means whatever the network configuration or network information is available in your entire cluster, the entire network configuration will be collected by the kube proxy only. So that is the responsibility of kube proxy. So what is the network configuration? For suppose there is a pod IP address. There will be a pod IP address. There will be a node IP address. So this all type of network configuration will be collected by the kube proxy in worker node. So that is the responsibility of kube proxy. So let me write something here about kube proxy. It will collect or it will contain. It will contain all the network. It will contain all the network information or configuration of entire your cluster. So that is what about kube proxy. For suppose like pod IP addresses, node IP addresses. So this is all about what is mean by kube proxy. So what is mean by kube proxy? What will do kube proxy in Kubernetes cluster? So now let us discuss the third component of worker node. That is all about pods. So it is very, very important. Pod. So what is mean by pod? Already we have discussed. See, it is a smallest deployable unit. It is a smallest deployable unit It is a small, let me write. It is the smallest deployable unit in worker node. It is a smallest deployable unit where we are going to deploy deploying our application as a container as a container as a container. So this is what is meaning by what is a pod, or what will do pod in Kubernetes cluster. So let me get pod also. So this is pod. So I told, so we are going to deploying our application inside the pod as a container level. So for that, let me get container logo. Then it is easy to understand what is mean by pod. So Docker logo. Let me get come to our flowchart. Let me expand it. Let me minimize. That means we are going to deploy our application as a container. So that means we have to specify, you have to provide your Docker container image, container name, container port number. So these three things you have to specify inside the pod. Then only pod will deploy your application as a container. Then Kubernetes will manage your container. That is the reason we are calling Kubernetes is nothing but a container management tool. So that is all about pod responsibility. So now let me explain what is the last component of worker node. So that is all about container runtime. See, container runtime. It is very easy to understand. So what is mean by container runtime? So let me explain. See, we are going to deploying our application as a container level. So you need to, if you want to deploy your container inside the Kubernetes, so you need to provide a container runtime environment. So then only container will be run. Container only will work. Why you need to provide a container environment? Because of Kubernetes doesn't know about your container. Kubernetes doesn't know about container concept. Because of Kubernetes is not going to creating your container. That means Kubernetes never create any container. Then, but it will manage your container only. So that is the reason only Kubernetes doesn't know about how to create container. So what is mean by Docker images? What is the mean by command Docker ps, Docker pause, Docker unpause? See, all these Docker commands Kubernetes will not understand because of Kubernetes environment is different. Docker environment is different. But we have to deploy our container, our application as a container inside the Kubernetes cluster. Then Kubernetes will be deploy your application. But if you want Kubernetes, for suppose, if Kubernetes want to run your container, want to create your container, so you need to provide container runtime for your application for running your container by the Kubernetes cluster. So who will provide this container runtime? What is the what is the component of which is going to providing container runtime for your application? That is all about container runtime. That means worker node is providing a component named container runtime. It will provide a container environment for your container. That means it will provide container environment. So that is all about container runtime. So let me get container runtime. Okay, it's not coming. No problem. Let me get container runtime. So please assume it is your container runtime. Let me add some color. Let me name it. Come to here, just paste it. So this is cluster architecture. So what is mean by cluster? What is mean by a master node? What is mean by worker node? What is mean by API server, control manager, etcd, scheduler, and what is mean by kubelet? What is mean by kube proxy? What is mean by pod? How we are going to deploying our application as a container level? Then what is mean by container runtime? See, I told we can able to create a number of worker nodes with the help of master node. So let me take one duplicate. We can create another worker node also based upon your application requirement. Okay, that is all about worker node. What is mean by master node? All these things. Just take the duplicate. Let me keep it here. Then take duplicate. Then keep it here. Brand. Okay. No problem. You can take another duplicate. Okay. So this is cluster architecture. Okay. Clear about what is mean by cluster, what is mean by master node, what is mean by worker node, what are the components are available in master node, what are the components are available in worker node. See, you need to remember two things, three things. The first thing is our application is going to be deployed inside the worker node. Okay. See, inside our second thing is inside worker node, where exactly we are going to deploy our application. That is all about pod. So that is the second thing. Then what is the third thing? Who will create pod resource? See, pod is a resource inside worker node, but who will create or who will make available this pod? Whenever you want to create any pod, who will create this pod, these resources? What is that? That is all about kubelet. See, kubelet only will create pod for your application. So that is all about that is these three things you have to remember. Okay. Now let us discuss how to create resources. So let me explain. First, we have to discuss about again cluster also. Okay, before discussing cluster, let me take one real-time example. Okay. Let me. Whatever you have questions, please keep with you. At the end of the session, I will answer all your questions. If you forget, please write down on your notepad. Then I will give time for questioning. Then I can able to answer all your questions. So this is all about what is mean by cluster, what is mean by master. This is all about cluster architecture. Then we have discussed about resources. So what are the resources are available in a Kubernetes cluster? So how we can able to create resources in a Kubernetes cluster? So before understanding how to create any resource in Kubernetes cluster, you need to understand about how we can utilize the cluster. So that is the thing, primary thing you have to understand about. So first, let me take one real-time example. So this is an organization. This is the one company. Let me add color. So this is one company. Just assume. For suppose, let me name it. Let me name it my iPhone company. So this is the company name. This is the company name. So inside this organization or company, there are 4 DevOps teams are available. So this is one DevOps team. This is DevOps team A. This is DevOps team A. This is DevOps team B. This is DevOps team C. This is DevOps team D. So there is an organization. In this organization has 4 DevOps teams. One A DevOps team A, team B, team C, team D. But for this organization or for this cluster or for this company, they have only one cluster. They have only one cluster. Let me take cluster, that's better. They have only one cluster. They have only one cluster. They have only one cluster. So my question is, how these 4 teams can utilize only single cluster, how they can deploy, let me explain. The team A need to deploy Flipkart application. Team A need to deploy Flipkart application. Team B need to deploy Amazon application. Team B need to deploy Amazon application. Team C need to deploy Meesho application. Team D need to deploy Geo Hotstar. Geo Hotstar. Geo Hotstar. So the team manager has assigned, the team manager has instructed to all these 4 DevOps teams. Team A, you should deploy Flipkart application in our cluster. Team B, you have to deploy Amazon application in our cluster. Team C, you have to deploy your Meesho application in our cluster. Team T, you have to deploy Geo Hotstar application inside our cluster. So the question is, it is possible to deploy 4 applications in a single cluster. The answer is okay. If you say yes, how we can able to deploy? So this is the question. So there is now let me answer this question. See, the question is, can we deploy multiple applications in a single cluster? Yes, it is possible. We can deploy multiple applications in a single cluster. Then how we can able to deploy multiple application in a single cluster? So what is the solution is available? I will explain. That is all about, okay, let me explain with a real life example. So I will discuss about how we can able to deploy multiple application in a single cluster. So this concept we will discuss after the break. So now time is 8 o'clock. Everyone take a break for 15 minutes. We will continue our session by 8:50. Just go for a break, everyone. Yeah. Hey guys, I hope you came back. Can someone confirm chat box? Then we will continue our session. Yeah, thank you. So we are discussing about uh, how we can able to utilize a single cluster for multiple applications. So the question is, can we deploy multiple applications or 4 applications, 3 applications, so whatever it may be, in a single cluster? It is possible or not? The answer is possible. Yes, we can deploy. So how we can able to utilize a single cluster for multiple applications? So let me take one real-time example. Let me take, so this is a house. So this is a house. Just assume it's a house. Let me add some color. So it's a house. So this is house. So there are 4 families. There are 4 families. There are 4 families. Family A, family E, family B, family C, family D, or family 1, family 2, family 3, family 4. So the question is, how these 4 families can live in a single house? So it is possible. Yes, it is possible to live 4 families in a single house. So how they can live? So that means they have to divide their house into four rooms or 4 bedrooms or 4 rooms. So then only it is easy to live 4 families in a single house for not getting any conflicts, for not getting any issues. So this is all about how we are going to dividing a house. So how we can able to divide? That means you have to divide this house sub rooms or multiple rooms. So this is room 1 for family 1. This is room 2 for family 2. This is room 4 for family 4. That means you have to allocate this room for your family. You have to allocate this room, this family. You have to allocate this room for this family. You have to allocate this room this family. Then you have to allocate this room for this family. That means now it is very easy to live 4 families in a single house. So then there is there are less chance to getting any conflicts between these 4 families. So similarly, we have to divide our cluster into multiple spaces. So that is all about namespace. Okay, here how we are going to dividing a house into multiple rooms or bedrooms. Similarly, we have to divide our cluster into multiple spaces. So the concept is, the resource is namespace. That means in Kubernetes cluster there is a resource called namespace. Namespace only will provide or will divide your cluster into multiple namespace. So that means I have to allocate namespace 1 to this family, to this application. To let me take 18 for deploying their Flipkart application. Then I have to the B team has to create namespace 2 for deploying their Amazon application. Similarly, the C team has to create namespace 3 for deploying their Meesho application. Similarly, the D team has to create fourth namespace for deploying their application Geo Hotstar. So now now 4 teams can work in a single cluster by dividing or by creating the namespaces. So these applications, let me take a freehand. That means these Flipkart applications will not mix up with Amazon application. That Amazon application resources will not mix up with Flipkart application. Then Meesho application resources will not mix up with the geo-hosted resources. Then geo-hosted resources will not mix up with Meesho resources. Similarly, Meesho resources also will not mix up with Flipkart application resources. Similarly, Flipkart application resources also will not mix up with Meesho applications. Here also, Amazon resources also will not mix up with Geo Hotstar resources. Then Geo Hotstar resources also will not mix up with Amazon namespaces resources. Why? Because the A team has created one namespace one, then B team has created namespace two, then D team has create namespace four, then C team has created namespace 3. That means they have divided their cluster into 4 spaces. That is all about name space. So now let me explain how to create a namespace, how we can able to deploy our application resources or our application into that particular namespace. So let me take one cluster. See, whenever you want to work with Kubernetes resources, you need one cluster. But today I'm not going to explaining how to create a cluster, but there is
Sir?
yes.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry for the interrupt. Actually, your screen is not visible. Students are messaging.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. I didn't see
It's
that.
okay. It's okay. No problem.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. So now let me explain from the beginning. Let me remove everything. I thought I'm sharing. Just let me recap. Yeah. See, there is an organization. Let me. Yeah. See, there is an organization named My-Company. I named this company organization name as My Company. So in this company, 4 DevOps teams are there. So there is a team, a B team, C team, D team. The A team has to be deployed Flipper application. Then B team has to deploy Amazon application. Then C team has deployed Visual application. Then D team has deployed GeoHost application where and there is in cluster, but this my company or organization has only one cluster, so they have deployed these 4 application in a single cluster only. So it is possible or not? The question is, can we deploy multiple applications in a single cluster? So the answer is yes, we can able to deploy multiple applications in a single cluster. So now let me take one real-time example. How we can able to deploy multiple applications in a single cluster. That means you have to divide your cluster into multiple spaces. So similarly, there is a house. The house, there are 4 families. So if you want to live these 4 families in a single house, they have to divide this house 4 rooms, 4 bedrooms. So this is room 1, this is room 2, this is room 3, this is room 4. That means once we have divided this house as four rooms, then we have to allocate room 1 family 1, room 2 family 2, room 2 family 2, then room 3 family 3, family 3, then room 4, family 4. See here how we are going to dividing a house into 4 rooms. Similarly, if you want to deploy 4 applications in a single cluster, you need to divide this cluster into 4 spaces. That is all about namespace. Okay. Now you need to create one namespace 1, namespace 2, namespace 3, namespace 4. So then we have once you created the namespace, then you need to allocate namespace 1 to the A team, namespace 2 to the B team, namespace 3 to the C team, namespace 4 to the D team. So let me name it namespace namespace 1, namespace 1. Then let me name it namespace 2. Then let me name it namespace 3. Then name it namespace 4. So that means what is the concept for dividing a cluster into multiple spaces? That is all about namespace. So let me name it here. The resource name is namespace. So namespace is nothing but how we are going to dividing a cluster into multiple namespace. So this is all about namespace. So once you created 4 namespace and you have after allocating these 4 namespace to the 4 teams, so then teams can deploy their application into their namespaces. So that means then Flipkart application resources will not mix up with Amazon applications. Then Amazon application resources will not mix up with Flipkart application. Then Meesho application resources will not mix up with the Geo Hotstar applications resources. Then Geo Hotstar resources will not mix up with Meesho application resources. Similarly, Meesho application resources will not mix up with Flipkart applications. Then Flipkart application resources will not mix up with Meesho applications. Similarly, Amazon application resources will not mix up with Geo Hotstar. Similarly, Geo Hotstar resources will not mix up with Amazon application resources. Why these applications resources will not mix up with each other application? Because they have created a customized namespace for their applications. So that is the reason only we have to understand about the concept is namespace. So now clear about what is namespace, how we can able to utilize a single cluster for multiple applications. So now the thing is we have to understand about how we can able to create a namespace, then how we can able to deploy or how we can able to utilize this namespace for deploying our application entire stack. So this is all about theoretical part. So now let me explain how we can able to create a namespace in our cluster. See, if you want to create a namespace, you need one cluster, right? Currently, we don't have any cluster, but there is an option. No need to any AWS account. No need to create any EC2 instance. There is a free open source platform is available. That is all about Killer Coda. See, Killer Coda is a open source platform which is providing Kubernetes free labs. We have a Kubernetes free labs which is providing by the Killer Coda. Just type, open new tab on your browser. Just type Killer Coda. Just type Killer Coda free labs. Free labs. Then hit the enter. See, click on the first link, Killer Coda interactive environments. So remember, just click on the first link, Killer Coda environment. See, you will get like this: playgrounds, examples, CKA certification, CKA certification, CKA certifications. So now we have to click on the playgrounds. Okay, click on the playgrounds. You will get like this. This is a single node lab, Kubernetes lab. This is a 2-node Kubernetes lab. Okay, this is a different Kubernetes playgrounds like a single or a multi-node. So you need to click on the second lab. Okay, this is a first lab. Don't go with the single node lab. Please go with the second lab. It will provide 2 nodes lab. Okay, Then click on the second lab. So you will get like this. So let me log out. I need to explain how we can able to sign up on, how we can able to sign in. Just do log out. So you will get like this. It will ask sign in into Killer Coda. Then choose GitHub, GitLab, Google or email. Now I'm going with Google. See, I'm selecting my company email. That is all about the client technologies. So then you will get like this. Just click on the playgrounds. Then click on the second lab. So now already I have signed in with my mail. So that's why it is showing logging. But if you are first time signing to this lab, it will ask to confirm two checkbox. While logging to the lab, you need to confirm two checkbox. So then confirm those checkbox, then submit, then you can able to log in into this lab. So the lab is available for 60 minutes only. What about what will happen after 60 minutes? Again, you have to log in. That means a number of times you can log in after 60 minutes. Okay, that is all about this. How you can able to utilize this Kubernetes free lab. So the first thing is whenever you create any cluster, whenever you log in any cluster, the first thing is you need to check how many nodes are there. How many nodes are there in your cluster? So what is the command to see how many nodes are there in your cluster? So what is the command? Let me explain. So what is the first thing you need to do? Whenever you log in, enter any cluster, whenever you create any cluster, the command is kubectl get nodes. So this is the first command you have to execute whenever you log in any cluster. So now let me explain. I want to see how many nodes are there in this lab or in this cluster. So how can I see? What is the command? kubectl. So what is mean by kubectl? See, kubectl is a command line interface. How we can able to talk or communicate with our cluster. See, in Docker, there is a command, Docker PS, Docker images, Docker run, Docker create, Docker RM, Docker RMI, Docker pause, Docker unpause. See, these commands, by using these commands, we can able to communicate or we can able to talk with our Docker. Similarly, in Kubernetes cluster, you need to talk with your Kubernetes cluster. So how we can able to talk with our Kubernetes cluster? So what is the resource? That is all about kubectl. kubectl is a command line interface. How we can able to talk or communicate with our cluster. So then you need to execute kubectl get just nodes. So now I want to see nodes. So that's why I mention or I type nodes. Now hit the enter. See, I can see control plane and node. What is mean by control plane? Control plane is nothing but master node. Then there is a worker node also. That means this lab is providing one master node or control plane, one worker node. So what is the ready? What is the status? Ready. So what is the roles? Control plane. What is the age? 21 hours ago. What is the version of this Kubernetes cluster? v1.32.1. So remember, whenever you first thing you need to check the how many nodes are there in a cluster by using this command kubectl get nodes. Then once you can see your nodes, you need to focus on status column, because of once your node is ready state, then only you can able to deploy your application stack. One, for suppose if a worker node, if your node is not in ready state, it is not possible to deploy any application. That is all about you need to remember how we can able to see our nodes, how we can able to check our node status. See, if someone will ask, for suppose you are working for a company, your team lead has asked you how many nodes are there in our cluster. So how can you say answer? Just execute this command. Okay, I executed this command kubectl get nodes. In our cluster, 2 nodes are there. So then immediately your team lead has again asked you, what is the status of our nodes? It is ready or not ready? You should say, if it is ready, just say ready. If it is not ready, you just need to communicate not ready. So this is how you can able to communicate in our organization, company, whenever you are working any company or for any project. So this is all about what is the meaning by kubectl get nodes. So now let me explain how we can able to create a namespace. See, I have only one lab. Now the participants are 188. So it is possible to use 188 members or 188 participants. The single cluster, this single Kubernetes free lab. Yes, it's possible. So, but the thing is, they have to create 188 namespaces. So now let me explain how we can able to create a namespace. So before creating a namespace, you need to understand about how many namespaces are there in your cluster. See, remember, if you create any cluster, there will be a default namespaces. So now let me explain how we can able to see default namespaces. So what is the command? See, the command is kubectl get. Remember, in a Kubernetes cluster, if you want to see any resources, the command is kubectl get. Kubectl get is common. After that, you need to specify the resource. For suppose, if you want to see nodes, just specify nodes. If you want to see parts, just specify the parts. If you want to see deployments, just specify the deployments. If you want to see services, just specify the services. If I want to see replicas, just specify the replicas. If I want to see namespace, just specify the namespace. So this is how we can able to see resources in our Kubernetes cluster. So in our case, what is the command? kubectl get namespace. So let me mention namespace. If I hit the enter, I can see how many namespaces are there in my cluster. Hit the enter. See, I can see default namespace, kube node lease namespace, kube public namespace, kube system namespace, local path storage. How many namespaces are there? 5 namespaces. See, these 5 namespaces has been created by our cluster only, not by me, not by you. So why these default namespaces are created by default? Because of these default namespaces has necessary components for running your cluster successfully. For suppose if you delete any one of resources out of these default namespaces, your cluster will get down because of these default namespaces, necessary namespace for running your cluster successfully. So you should not disturb default namespaces. Then you can create a customized namespace for your own work. So now let me explain how you can able to create a namespace. See, there are 2 ways in a Kubernetes cluster to creating namespace. So one is imperative style. One is imperative style. So what is mean by imperative style? So whenever you are going to create any resources in a Kubernetes cluster by using commands, that is called imperative style. So now let me explain how can I able to create a namespace by using the imperative style. So what is the command? kubectl create, then mention resource type. See here, what is our resource type? Namespace is my resource type. So then mention namespace. See, I mentioned NS. NS is a short form for namespace. Okay, you can type full name namespace or you can use names NS. Then you need to provide a meaningful name to your namespace resource. Okay, resource type. So it could be anything. You can give whatever you want. So let me give my name. See, Murli. So this is how you can able to create a namespace by using the imperative style. Imperative style is nothing but if you want to create, if you are going to create any resource by using commands, it is called imperative style. So how can I able to create namespace? kubectl will create a namespace, then provide a name for your namespace. Hit the enter. See, it is clearly telling namespace Murli created. So now I need to cross check whether this namespace is created or not. How can I check? What is the command? Command is on my screen only. What is the command? kubectl kubectl get, then mention ns or namespace. Hit the enter. See, I can see namespace name Murli. What is the status? Active. What is the age? 20 seconds. That means 20 seconds ago it has created. So now let me create another namespace also. What is the command? kubectl create namespace Mohan. Now hit the enter. See, it's created. How can we check? kubectl get namespace. Hit the enter. See, Mohan namespace is available, active. Then 7 seconds ago, it's created. So this is how we can able to create a namespace. So this is all about imperative style. Then you have to understand about declarative style. What is mean by declarative style? What is mean by declarative style? How we can able to create any resources in declarative style? See, in real time, we should use this one only, declarative style only. But for interview purpose, I'm explaining imperative style also. Okay. Then let me explain what is mean by declarative style. So if you want to understand about what is mean by declarative style, you should understand about this concept, AML. So if you don't understand about YAML, you cannot understand about what is mean by declarative style. So now let me explain what is mean by YAML. See, what is YAML stands for ain't another markup language. So what is mean by YAML? Just hit the enter. Just look for the what is mean by YAML. See, YAML is a human readable data serialization language. So what is mean by human readable data serialization? That see, YAML is a one type of the language like Java, Python, Go language, PHP. So whatever similarly, but it's not a programming. It is a human readable language. That means, for example, if you written any code by using Python, by using Java, developers only can understand this is a code, but normal people cannot understand because of it's a programming language. But when it comes to YAML file, it's a human readable language. That means anyone can understand this YAML file. Anyone can read this YAML file. That means that is all about human readable data serialization. See, data serialization is nothing but you need to configure your data. For example, I want to create a namespace. So I need to provide a data for regarding my namespace by creating the by using the YAML file. So that is all about a human readable data serialization language. So it is often used for writing configuration files. Okay. Then depending on whom you ask. So YAML stands for yet another markup language or ain't markup language. See, there are two abbreviations. One is yet another markup language, ain't markup language. So this is all about what is mean by YAML file, why YAML file. So in real time, you should use YAML file only for creating any resource in a Kubernetes cluster. It may be pod, deployment, namespace, secrets, config maps, ingress, whatever it may be, you should use YAML structure only. So that's why I'm explaining YAML file is a human readable data serialization language. It is oftenly used for writing the configuration files. So clear about what is mean by YAML file. So now let me explain how we can able to create a namespace by using the namespace by using the imperative declarative style. So if you want to understand about if you want to create any if you want to write any YAML file, there is syntax you have to follow for creating any YAML file, for writing any YAML file. So whenever you want to write any YAML file, firstly you need to create a file. Firstly, you need to create a file. So how can you able to create a file? There is a syntax blindly, but okay, in Linux commands, by using Linux commands, for suppose if I want some file, how can I able to create some file? By using the touch command, then file name. I can give a file name, whatever I want. File name. For suppose the file name is touch Murli. So this command will create a file for me named with Murli. Similarly, when it comes to YAML, you need to create a file for your YAML file. So how can you create? Let me explain. You can use a touch command or VI. So touch command will create the file only. But if you use VI as a editor mode, it will create a file and it will open the file also. So first let me explain touch command. See, touch, after that you need to mention file name. File name. The name you can give whatever you want, but the file should end with .yaml or file name .yml. So this is syntax. Then only it will be considered as a YAML file. The file name should end with .yml or .yml. Both will work. For suppose if you forget, for suppose, unfortunately you have written YAL, it won't consider as a YAML file. For suppose you just need, for suppose you mentioned like this ML only. No, it won't consider as a YAML file. These two types only you have to follow whenever you want to create a YAML file. So this is the by using the touch command. So what about VI? Just same. Just mention VI, then give space, then same format only you can use. So this is all about what is the structure of creating any YAML file in Kubernetes cluster. So now let me explain how we can able to create a namespace. So let me clear the screen. I have already two namespaces, two customized namespace, Mohan and Murli. So these two namespace has been created by in imperative style, but I want to create namespace in declarative style. How can I create? Just VI, for suppose my namespace. You can go whatever you want. The name doesn't matter, but the file name should end with .yml. Hit the enter. See, the file is created and it's open. If you look at my screen, my bottom of the screen, there is a file name, my-namespace.yml. See, now you have to understand about how we can able to start our YAML file. See, remember, you can take any YAML file in Kubernetes cluster. The first instructions is API version end with colon v1. So firstly, you need to configure API version for your YAML file. See, what is the syntax here you need to follow? In API version, we should be capital letter. If you give small letter, it won't be act as a API version. So then you need to specify v1. Okay, this is all about API version. So this is the first instructions. So then you need to define your object. See here, what is our object? Our object is namespace. So you need to tell to this YAML file, hey YAML file, please create a namespace for me. So these thing you have to communicate to your YAML file. How can you communicate? What is the instruction you have to follow here? Kind. See, kind, what is mean by kind? See, kind will define your object. That is all about kind. So then give space. Then mention your namespace name. Remember, whenever you are going to configuring, whenever you are going to defining your object in kind instruction, the first letter should be capital. Don't give small letter. If you give small letter, the kind will not consider your object. So then you need to follow the syntax. Then type namespace. So this is how you can able to configure your object in a kind instructions. So what is mean by kind? Kind will define your object. So that is all about namespace. Okay. So here I configure API version kind. Then what next? you need to provide a meaningful name to this namespace. By using imperative style, I have provided a meaningful name. kubectl create namespace Murli, kubectl create namespace Mohan. See, in YAML file also, you need to configure a meaningful name to your kind or namespace or object. So how can you able to configure what is the instructions you have to use? That is all about metadata. Can type metadata, end with colon, hit the enter. See what is mean by metadata. See, metadata will contain basic details of your kind. That means metadata will contain details of or name of your kind. So then let me explain. Exactly under metadata, give two indentation. See, whenever you are writing any YAML file, indentation is very, very important. So what is mean by indentation? Indentation is nothing but where you should give space, where you should not give space. That is all about indentation. Then hit the enter. Under metadata, give two indentation. 1, 2. That's it. Then just type name, end with colon, give one indentation. So now you can provide a meaningful name to your kind or to your object or to your namespace. For suppose, let me give Agarwal. See, this is a namespace Agarwal-ns. Agarwal-ns. So this is how we can able to write a YAML file for creating a namespace in declarative style by using YAML file. So now let me recap. Firstly, you should start with API version v1. Then you need to provide, you need to use kind instructions for configuring your object. See your object, what is our object? Namespace. Then you need to provide a meaningful name to your object by using the metadata. What is meant by metadata? Metadata will contain your kind details, kind information. So this is all about namespace. Now let me close this file. Escape, colon, WQ, hit the enter. Give ls, there is a YAML file named my-namespace.yaml. So now I need to cross check whether my data is saved or not. Why I am calling my data? Here I explain. See, a YAML file is a human readable data serialization language. So I have configured my data inside the YAML file. So I need to cross check. How can I cross check? Without opening the file, what is the command? Cat command I have to use. Okay. By using cat command, we can able to see the information which is available inside the file without opening it. Hit the enter. See, API version is available, kind is available, metadata is available, the name is also available. See, the first letter should be capital. That is all about, you have to remember the syntax. So now the thing is, if I get kubectl get ns, I cannot see the namespace named Agarwal-ns. But I have created a file. I have written a YAML file for this, but the namespace is not available. Why? You need to apply this YAML file. You need to run this YAML file. Then only the namespace will be created. So that is all about declarative style. So how can you run this YAML file? How can you apply this YAML file? So what is the command? You should use kubectl. So remember, in Kubernetes cluster, which if you want to run any YAML file, if you want to apply any YAML file, there is a permanent or standard command is there. That is all about kubectl apply -f. -f is nothing but flag. Then you need to provide which YAML file you want to apply. If which YAML file you want to run. See, now I want to run my -namespace.yaml file. So this is the command kubectl apply -f, then mention a file name, then hit the enter. See, namespace Agarwal-ns created. That means I have created a namespace named Agarwal-ns in declarative style by using YAML file. So now I need to cross check. So what is the command? Kubectl get ns. See, if you look at my screen, Agarwal-ns status is active. 19 seconds ago, it's created. So this is how we can able to create a namespace in declarative style. See, I have divided this Kubernetes lab into 3 namespaces. Murli, Mohan, Agarwal. You can create another namespace also. So let me create another YAML file. For suppose demo-namespace.yml. So this time I'm using YML, not YAML. YAML will work. YML will work. So let me type API capital V version V1, then kind. What is mean by kind? Kind will define your object. What is our object? Namespace. First letter should be capital. Hit the enter. You need to provide a meaningful name to your kind by using the metadata. What is mean by metadata? Metadata will contain your kind information or details. So then let me provide IPL namespace. So API version V1 kind namespace metadata name IPL-ns. So let me close. Escape the colon WQ. Give ls. See demo-ns YAML file is available. Now let me do cat command. If I hit the enter, see I can see API version kind metadata name IPL-ns. See, if I want to create this IPL-ns namespace, I should run this YAML file. How can I run? A kubectl apply -f, then file name. -f stands for flag. Hit the enter. See namespace IPL-ns, it's created. So now let me cross check. kubectl get ns. See, if you look at the screen, IPL-ns is created, namespace is created, active status is active, age is 9 seconds. So this is how we can able to create namespace in imperative style, in declarative style. So what is mean by imperative style? Whenever you are going to create any resource by using commands is called imperative style. What is mean by declarative style? Whenever you are going to creating any resources by using YAML file is called declarative style. What is mean by YAML file? YAML stands for yet another markup language or ain't markup language. So what is a YAML file? YAML file is a human readable data serialization language. Anyone can use, anyone can understand, anyone can read this YAML file. That is all about what is meant by YAML file. So this is all about what is Kubernetes architecture, what is the master node, what is the master node components, what is the worker node, what are the components of worker node, say what is the namespace, what is YAML file, what is declarative style, what is imperative style. So far, if you have any questions, please you can ask. Is there any difference YAML or YAML file? There is no any difference YAML and YAML file, but we can use either YAML or YAML. Others, if you have any questions, please you can ask. Sir, can you please explain, please brief Kubernetes and its purpose? See, Kubernetes is a cluster. Cluster is nothing but combination of nodes. The main purpose is we have to deploy our application in real time. At the end of the day, you have to deploy your application inside the Kubernetes cluster only, because of Docker will not manage your container. Docker only will create a container, but Kubernetes will manage your container. So if sometimes, for suppose Unfortunately, your container got deleted. No problem. Kubernetes will create another container within a fraction of seconds. Then you don't get any application downtime. In real time, all companies are deploying their application inside the Kubernetes cluster only. Still, if you have any questions, please you can ask. Don't hesitate. Any questions? Please, you can use the chat box. Then I can answer all your questions. If you have any confusions, please ask me. Kubernetes is a hot for DevOps. So try to understand Kubernetes as much as possible. Okay, if no questions, we will wind up our session for today.
Yeah, sure, sir. We will wind up. We'll
Yes.
meet again by tomorrow at 7.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys. See you tomorrow class. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, students. I hope you all marked your attendance. Okay, we'll meet again on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Thank you all. Thank you for joining.